just gonna go ahead and wash my face and brush my teeth. So I normally like to start by washing my face in cold water just to clear my pores. So and hopefully I'm gonna do some special mix. So I'm just gonna do that. Which if I didn't already mention on top of that, I also brush my teeth with cold water. And then I use mouthwash. And then when I get back in my room, I am going to find chapstick because I've been having really bad drops lately. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse my mouth out with some mouthwash. And thanks to my amazing boyfriend who bought mouthwash for when he's here, I've been using the majority of it. Because like I said, we only see each other on weekends until we move in together. And he's gonna be tired of me. He's gonna be like, oh my god, you're exhausting to do. Even though he can be a pain in the ass. But I'll check back in after I use them all. Whatever hair that is in my brush out of it, because we don't like using extra disgusting dirty hair in our brush. At least I don't know about any of my friends, but if you do, that's gross. So just currently what I'm doing. And then I still need to get my boyfriend up to brush his teeth, which he's literally impossible to even wake up, but he needs to brush his teeth just because we did just detox like not too long ago. But not wait to talk about which. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you will subscribe to our channel. And if this gets 800 likes, me and my boyfriend will do a night in the life together, just so that way you guys can see more of him as well. Like I said in another video, he's not going to be in the majority of my videos because we do live a little far away from each other. He lives like 2 hours away right now. But my 21st birthday is next Saturday. It's insane. All of this freaking hair will not get off of me. It's like annoying. I hate when my hair does that. And I'm going to be a dear girlfriend and rub his feet, because that's part of what I do on the weekends. I cherish my man and I take him, especially when he's here on the weekends. That's one thing he's gonna miss so bad next weekend or next month, because after my birthday we agreed we are going to take our time away from each other, sadly, but he needs to save money to get a car because he does not have a car just yet. So we're gonna do that, and then but I'm gonna go give him some attention. He's asleep, like I said, so I have to try and rub his feet without him knowing, which is probably going to be a little impossible because if you touch his feet, he is very, very ticklish. But I know for a fact he'll be okay with it because I'm a girlfriend and I can do whatever I want. So, but I normally try and get whatever he needs done. Right down to I told him that if he ever needs somebody to blabber to or to take a little bit of frustration out on, just to call me. Which, for the people who have their assumptions about mine and my boyfriend's relationship, y'all don't know what happens behind the closed doors in our relationship. So if any of the people are thinking, oh damn, they're not in a mess, like, you guys are probably wrong. We've been together for 2 months and our relationship is going good. We've barely fought. We fought like one time, but it was over something so stupid. Like, literally it was over something extremely stupid, but it's fine because we're still together, obviously. And yeah, so I'm gonna go do that. So now I'm gonna head back in that bedroom, which is gonna be hard to do because we not that loud.
Because yeah, it was not good. So she was like, "You better get in the car right now," and I'm like, "No, I'm not getting in the fucking car, Paula." And she pulls out a fucking gun, literally. And then she told me to get in the car. So obviously I'm like, all right, okay, all right. I'm gonna get in the car now. I'm gonna get in the car. Remember when I told you guys that I didn't want to get in the car with her because I was afraid that I was like gonna die when I was like 12, the first time that like I had ever hung out with her? Yeah, I feel like I predicted this shit. I really did. Anyway, so we're in the car. She's going like 30 miles over the fucking speed limit. Thankfully, I recognized that we were going home instead of some fucking place where she could murder me and dump my body. And she keeps calling my dad. Thank God on the fourth time he answered. And she's like, so going even worse than they were before, which I didn't even think was fucking possible because my dad brought my mom. What is wrong with you? So Paula just like bolts over over to my mom when my dad runs over to her and he's like, come on, let's go take a drive, let's talk about this, blah, blah, blah. So her and my dad get into the car, and I don't even know why he thought it was a good idea to let her drive, but, yeah, she was driving really reckless, I guess. I mean, not really, I guess. I know because she crashed into a telephone pole and unalived herself and put my dad into a coma. Yep, I've been living with my mother ever since. And I didn't think that she would be that sad about my dad because, they didn't even really have that much of a history unless one of them was lying to me. But she would go and visit my dad in the hospital almost every day. And I feel bad for Savannah and Michelle, but to be honest, they really didn't even care. They were happy to go live with their dad. Okay, everybody, that is the end of today's story time. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of me, maybe hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to know whenever I post my next video, make sure to click that bell. And if you guys want to know how to send in your anonymous story time, or you want to send in your anonymous story time, make sure to click the links down below in the description. But other than that, I will see you guys next week with a new story time. Hi everybody, my name is Kaylee and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay everybody, so it is currently November 5th and that means it is 15.
Today's case is one that is back in the current headlines. Now, many of you guys have been requesting coverage on this case, and I wanted to wait until there was enough information out there to really just discuss it and give you a full overview. But I do want to give you a little bit of a pre-warning that the information in this case seemed to be very conflicting, but I have done my best to kind of sort through and figure out exactly what happened. But I just want to remind you guys to please remember to always do your own research and form your own opinions. So today we're going to go over all there is to know in the case of Alicia Navarro, who first went missing back in 2019 and recently walked into a police station and told officers to remove her name from the missing children's registry. Hey guys, I'm Annie Elise. This is 10 to Life. Let's get started. 18-year-old Alicia Navarro was born on September 20th, 2004 to her mother Jessica Nunez and to her father. Now, not much is really known about Alicia's biological father, as it seems like her mom was mostly the one to raise her. Alicia was diagnosed with autism at a young age, and she was considered to be high functioning. Now, the official term for high functioning autism would be ASD level 1. I should also note that high functioning is a term that many people do not agree with, partly because when some people consider someone high functioning, things that they may actually need for support and to help support them can oftentimes be overlooked. Level 1 autism comes with its own set of challenges that often need additional support. And oftentimes these
Put that one in there
like
too.
sensory issues, social challenges, emotional
Who's this?
dysregulation, anxiety, and depression.
Oh.
Also executive planning problems and communication challenges. So it can be very complex and there are a lot of differing views and opinions on the term. Now, Alicia was known to mostly struggle in the social aspect and the sensory aspect. She also did struggle with anxiety. In terms of the sensory aspect of her diagnosis, foods were tricky for her, and so was clothing. She was known to wear sweatshirts very often, and she had a bit of a limited wardrobe because they had to find things that didn't bother her. She also had a very limited selection of foods that she would eat. So Socially, Alicia was not someone who really enjoyed in-person interaction a whole bunch. While she had a group of friends that she'd known since pre-K, she mostly preferred keeping to herself during in-person situations. In a school project that she did, she had described herself as quiet, odd, nervous, weird, introverted, and nerdy. To her family, though, Alicia was described as kind and loving. But Alicia had her own way of socializing that felt comfortable for her. Around 11 years old, she began getting really interested in social media and online gaming. She felt a bit more confident there and had an easier time making and maintaining connections in her own way. She was known to play games such as Roblox and Minecraft, and she also enjoyed speaking to the friends that she had made online on a chat app called Discord. She would often stay up super late into the night gaming and talking to these friends that she had made. Now, Alicia and her mother, Jessica, had an amazing relationship, and the only arguments that Jessica ever really had with Alicia related to her online presence. It's a known fact that no one should be giving out personal information online to strangers,
Don't
and
kill me
it's
when you
a
wash your
conversation
feet.
that a lot of parents have to have with their children at a very young age. In fact, every parent should be having those conversations with their kids based on the world that we live in currently. But children, and especially for someone like Alicia, who was on the spectrum and struggled socially, understanding the risks could sometimes be a challenge. There were two incidents that had happened previously. The first one was regarding Alicia sharing personal information with a stranger online. When her mom found out about it, she took it very seriously and had a very serious discussion with Alicia to help her better understand the risks that are associated with it. At another point, Jessica saw that a grown man had been messaging Alicia. In those messages, he was being very, very creepy toward her, saying things like asking if she liked stuffed animals, and then spoke to Alicia about him being a stuffed animal for her to love on if she didn't have any. Just really creepy and sick behavior and predatory, in my opinion. Now, for her mom, Jessica, that was absolutely terrifying. She called the police, but because what the man was doing wasn't illegal, the only thing she could really do was file a report and take steps to ensure that Alicia knew and understood how to stay safe online. But regardless of what had happened previously, Jessica didn't really realize just how dangerous the online world could be, and she felt bad for taking the one thing that her daughter truly enjoyed away from her. She ultimately just wanted Alicia to be happy, and she felt that if Alicia was at home physically, that no matter what she did online, she would be physically safe. In 2019, at the age of 14, Alicia started high school at Bourgade Catholic High School. This was a new change and a big change, but it was something that Alicia was really excited about. Due to some of the things that she had struggled with, she had switched schools a few times throughout her schooling career. Alicia's previous history was that she was usually the one who would just kind of roll out of bed, get dressed, and then go to school. She wasn't one who really cared much about her looks or anything of that sort. Like I said, she pretty much just kept to herself. But things started to change once she started high school. Alicia started asking for things that weren't very typical for her and want to have, such as makeup and perfume. Now, obviously, her mom was a little caught off guard by this, but she figured that Alicia was just growing up and wanting to become a woman, fit in, do all of those things, and so she got them for her. She also had asked for a really expensive comic book, which was odd because she had never been into comic books before, ever. But again, maybe she found a new group of friends, maybe she was just trying to connect and fit in with them. Alicia had also always worn mostly sweatshirts and long sleeves. However, after starting school, she asked her mother, Jessica, for an Adidas shirt, which Jessica did not buy her due to feeling like it was inappropriate. Alicia also started showing interest in things like protein powder and rock music when she was previous.
Did you have a good cut out?
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications, but
A pop music kind of girl. But overall, despite these changes, school seemed to be going well for Alicia. She was finding her own path, kind of forging ahead, finding new interests, something that is very typical for kids that age. Her grades were good, and she even seemed to be expanding her social circle. She had even asked to go to the mall alone with 2 older high school guys, which Jessica, her mother, did allow. Overall, she just seemed like a completely different child going into high school. On Friday, September 13th, 2019, Alicia asked to stay home from school. She often dealt with bouts of anxiety, and that seemed to be the case on that particular day. So her mother, Jessica, decided to let her stay home and basically just take a mental health day. She was the one who usually took Alicia to all of her appointments and therapies. So she was the first person who would always make sure that Alicia did the things that she needed to do, especially in order to help her mental health. So that specific day, Alicia mostly just hung out in her room like a typical teenager. The following day, on the 14th, Jessica and Alicia did the typical teenage mother-daughter things. They went to get their eyebrows threaded, they had visited a chocolate factory, they also had McDonald's, which was something Alicia had never turned down, and it was just a normal day, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Alicia was so happy that day, and it was a good day for them. So that night, her mother, Jessica, could hear Alicia laughing in her room. Alicia went downstairs close to 1 a.m. while Jessica was hanging out downstairs as well. Now, Alicia's stepfather, Ivan, worked nights at the time, so her mother, Jessica, would often stay out waiting for him so that they could get some time together before going to bed. He went to Alicia's room to check on her. But when he went into her room, she wasn't there. Further searches of the house showed that Alicia was nowhere to be found inside the home. And when they had gone out in the backyard, they saw footprints in the dirt and chairs and bricks stacked up in a way that would appear as if Alicia had actually left the house on her own. And they knew that she had to have left. A channel called Down the Rabbit Hole News posted a great video that shows how she would have left the home, and I will put that in here.
There was more than, I don't know how she stacked them up because there were like more. Like, I don't think she thought because the low one was like up here. And this was like up here. And another one, like, I don't think she, you know what I mean? There were like there was like 4 chairs here accumulated like that. So I don't understand. When she jumped, you could, there were like her shoe prints were going towards this direction. That's why I know she jumped from here. And there is a shovel accumulated like that. These bricks were over here more. We, it cleaned up, it's been a year. But she jumped through here, and I believe she used this.
Is that in Arizona?
She jumped like this. Oh, sorry. To the other side. Because that's where the footprints were going towards there. Unfortunately, there's gravel on the other side, so it's hard to know what direction she went because it's rocks. There is no prints from there, to see if she went that way or this way. But that's her room. Here's a more clear picture there.
But this was pretty odd for a girl who preferred to spend her time at home. She had literally been seeing a behavioral coach to help her with the anxiety she had about leaving home. She had recently gotten a bit better, but she wouldn't just usually voluntarily leave like that. Not only did she often have anxiety about leaving home, but Alicia was also very routine oriented. She liked things to happen in a very routine fashion without deviating from the plan. They also quickly realized that she had taken her MacBook with her and also her phone, but she had left behind her chargers. Now, because she had a limited clothing collection, they were able to narrow down and realize that she had taken a white sweatshirt, a denim overall skirt, black and white sneakers, and a black backpack that had metallic ears on it. She had also taken that comic book.
You
some
heard
body
the
spray,
black and white
and
sneakers?
makeup. I mean, really not a lot of things if she was planning to be gone for an extended period of time. But the fact that she didn't take her chargers was what really indicated that maybe she was planning on coming back fairly soon. Her devices were kind of like her lifeline, so surely, if she's constantly on them, if she was planning to be away for a long period of time, she would have brought the chargers with her. So Alicia's family notified law enforcement, and they came over to help search. Runaway teenagers are something police deal with very frequently, and I'm sure that they just assumed that she was like any other teenager. And that's when the first big break in this case happened. As her mother Jessica was searching her room for clues, she had found a note that was left behind. The note read, "I ran away. I will be back. I swear. I'm sorry. Alicia." The note was written in very sloppy handwriting, and Alicia was known to have beautiful penmanship. However, Jessica had no doubt that it was Alicia's handwriting, and it seemed like maybe she had just written that when she was in a hurry and trying to run out the door. The following day, on September 16th, Jessica pleaded with law enforcement to release a silver alert. Alicia didn't qualify for an amber alert because there was no abduction that had taken place. However, a silver alert is for people who are 65 years or older, or someone who has a developmental disability. With Alicia's autism diagnosis, she technically could qualify. So thankfully, that same day, law enforcement did put out that silver alert. Jessica was extremely concerned, and she was basically running her own investigation on the whereabouts of her daughter alongside the police investigation that was, of course, now active. There had been a couple of sightings reported within the first few days of Alicia being missing. These sightings were said to be at a park called La Pradera, which is only about a mile and a half from her home. But when Jessica went to the park, she didn't find Alicia, and there were no security cameras. But there were people there who did say
My
that they
foot
had seen
has
Alicia
not
in
nuts.
that area walking with a man who
With
had a darker complexion. Alicia's 15th birthday was on September 20th. In the Latino community, a girl's 15th birthday is usually a very big deal. Usually they have a quinceañera or some sort of big party,
Put your hand
but
like
Alicia
right
wasn't the
in
type
this
to
area
want
right
that.
here. You can see how tight
Instead,
it
they
is.
had planned on going out for
Tight.
steaks and having red
Can you
velvet
see
cake
how
after
tight it
to
is right
celebrate. Alicia was
That's how
super
it's supposed to be,
excited
right?
about this because steak wasn't
Yeah,
a
but
part
it
of
feels
her
like you've
select
got, like,
group of
some
foods
knots
that
in
she
your
would
feet right
usually
there.
eat, and she was really excited to try it. So of course, with the excitement of her birthday on the horizon, her parents certainly thought that she would come back to celebrate it. But September 20th came and went. Alicia had not come home for her 15th birthday. Instead, her mom Jessica spent part of the day at the local park celebrating with strangers who were there helping search for Alicia. She was heartbroken, and her fears grew even larger when Alicia herself missed her own birthday. As the days went on, desperation grew. And not only did the desperation grow, but so did Jessica's feelings that Alicia had been lured away from her home by someone that she met online. But Jessica was not giving up. Not only was she out following up on the leads, but she was also out driving around at night looking for Alicia. And the things that she saw were absolutely horrifying. She saw minors who were on drugs and minors who were participating in sex work. More than likely, those minors were also being trafficked. So that only made Jessica fear even more about what could possibly have been going on with Alicia missing. Within a few days, the FBI got involved in the search when no one had heard from Alicia and no one had been able to track her down. Now, because Alicia had her devices, it made things a bit harder. The FBI was able to gain access to her social media accounts, though, and while it seemed like there hadn't been any activity since the morning she went missing, they did still find a couple of things worth noting. The first thing was that a few days prior to going missing, Alicia had messaged a guy who she had become friends with because they gamed together. His name is Clark, and he was 20 years old. About 11 days before Alicia had run away, she had messaged Clark and told him that she had sold her Xbox, but also that she had a new boyfriend. Now, at the time, Clark wasn't really too sure whether or not to believe her, and he basically told investigators that there were times that Alicia would stretch the truth, or just not tell the full truth, so no one really ever knew what to believe. Clark later told someone that he willingly gave up his Xbox and his phone for 18 hours to try to help possibly find anything in regards to Alicia's whereabouts. Not only did law enforcement talk to Clark, but they also reached out to the guys that Alicia had gone to the mall with that day. One of the guys told law enforcement that when they were at the mall, Alicia had a burner phone. Now, Jessica, her mother, was obviously unaware of this supposed burner phone, and it was even more confusing because from her recollection, Alicia actually hadn't taken anything with her to the mall. Although we know that a cell phone is very small, so if she did have one, maybe she was just hiding it in her pocket or her bag or something like that. But the question I would have is, where did
Can I
she
get my
get
drink?
that burner phone?
Yeah.
She never went out of the house alone. It would seem unlikely that she would have somehow gotten a burner phone without her mom seeing it. Other friends also allegedly told law enforcement that Alicia had told them that she was going to run away. So while law enforcement was clearly looking for Alicia, this wasn't an abduction case. So honestly, it seemed like most of the attention on the case came due to Jessica's advocacy in finding her daughter. Not only was she passionate about finding her daughter, but she also became passionate about ending human trafficking. Somewhere around March 2020, 6 months after Alicia had gone missing, some hope was renewed when a private investigator by the name of Trent Steele got involved in the case. Trent works with the Anti-Predator Project, which is a non-profit that works very hard to end trafficking. Their website says that they do not charge victims any money for the work that they do to help find their loved ones, and they claim that their reasoning for that is that no one should have to pay a fee for assistance in the darkest times of their lives, which honestly is just really incredible for them to provide their services free of charge. So many families spend thousands upon thousands of dollars for private investigators to help find their loved ones. And because of the circumstances of Alicia's disappearance, her case seemed to be more challenging than most cases, which meant that someone donating their time and services was even more extraordinary. Law enforcement